Hey everybody, welcome back. And today we're going to do something, obviously by the title of this video. You know why you're here. I know why you're here. Apparently the bread and butter of my channel is doing different firework videos. And so I wanted to do something a little bit different. I know last year I went around something of showing you guys where at in the parks we get to record some shots and some stuff. But since as we begin to edit more and more videos, we begin to get progressively better with adding stuff in, making stuff look better. So I wanted to take the opportunity to just take you guys kind of behind the scenes of how these shows all come together. There is going to be a lot of information. I have about 3.5 weeks before I go back to work, and I needed a big project to do. Last two live premieres we did, everyone is always saying you should do a video on how you put all of this together. So I'm going to show you what everything looks like before, and then you're going to see how progressively it gets to where it is now. Granted, the stuff that we're going to be doing here is kind of advanced if you're new when it comes to video editing. If you're new to Premiere Pro and Audition, I feel like this will be kind of a great little burner tutorial for you. To pay attention. A lot of the stuff that I do, it moves very fast because I have a lot to do, so I don't like to stick around and explain a whole lot. Some of it I will. I'm going to put timestamps in the video description down below because it's going to be a long one. So we're going to break it down. We're going to go to audio editing. We're going to show the video editing. This is before we put everything in the timeline. We're going to go through video effects, audio effects, all of this different stuff that we do to put into the video and to make it look good. And then we're going to show you exactly how we throw everything in the timeline to get it synced up right. And then we're going to show you how we get ready for a live premiere, how we come up with a trailer. We're going to do all of this stuff. So what we're going to do is we've taken everything and just kind of scrapped it. So we are going to be starting 100% from scratch here. Just like we just got in from the parks, aside from the fact that we just didn't get in from the parks. That's essentially what we're going to do. We're going to show you how we take just some plain Jane clips and turn them into a fireworks show. So without any further ado of this extremely long introduction, let's hit the intro and let's get started. All right, friends, here we are back at our good old desktop starting from scratch. Great opportunity. So the first thing we're going to want to do when we are editing our audio is we would like to separate our audio from our video. So how do we do that? It's actually quite simple. We are here in our software here. And we are simply going to drag and drop. We're not going to use the mid angle just because there is a lot of really cute stuff from Asher in there. And I'm not exactly sure that I want to put that in there. So we're going to be using these 3 angles here. So we're going to drop this one in here for a second and just kind of give you an idea if it'll drop, take your time, no hurries. Then we're going to come here, right click, unlink, and then we're going to delete. And all we have left is the audio track. And then we go to export. And we go to MP3, 320 kilobytes per second, and we hit export. That's what we do for all of our audio tracks. But at this point in time, we've already done that for the sake of the video to save time. Usually it only takes few seconds, nothing too crazy. Let's goes to the desktop. So we'll just see, maybe a minute or so. So that's how we separate our video from our audio. So we're going to show you what everything looks like. All right, so this is what our audio looks like after the fact. This is what it looks like after we extract all of our video and all of our audio together. Nothing crazy, just like a bunch of audio tracks, right? Nothing too crazy. All right, the software we're going to be using for this is called Adobe Audition. And this is what it looks like. And what we're going to do is we're going to click multi-track. We're going to call it Happily, with 2 P's, Ever After Edited Audio. We're going to hit OK. And it should bring up this. So then we're going to come here and we're just going to drag and drop. The Happily Ever After official audio, this is the studio soundtrack, or as some people like to call it, the source audio. I think that's kind of ridiculous, but, you know, whatever. You guys do you. And what we're going to do is we're just going to drag all of them over here that we're going to use. There's 1, 2, 3. We're going to use contemporary angle, the close angle there, and I think that's it. So what we're going to do, we're going to allow these to kind of buffer in, and then we're going to slide them, each one of them, over here like this. The whole idea is to create an audio track that sounds as good as it's going to look. We've put out 2 videos, and while the videos have done fairly well, we were doing some trial and error with this year's video, so we found out a lot of different ways to make it look a lot cleaner and a lot better. So we want it to sound as good as it looks. The official audio, is what we're going to drag right here, and this fairly officially is going to be the backbone of our soundtrack here. What I believe the next one will be the close angle, because it's so good. We've got a really, really good spot. Something else we're actually going to add in here is this one. I have already extracted this one. This is a recording of just fireworks. There is some vocals in it, but it is strictly 100% just fireworks sounds. And once it converts, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, so that way you kind of have an idea. We recorded the fireworks separate from the show. We used the same audio track, so what you guys are seeing and what you guys are going to see in the video later this year is definitely this recording. We've never used it. So we're going to shrink it down, that way we can see everything. We're going to mute this, and let's just give you a rough idea of what it sounds like. So as you can see, it's strictly just fireworks. It's pretty awesome. So it's very, very difficult. If I know someone's going to ask me in the comments, how do you line up fireworks shots with everything else? Don't worry, bear with me. I'm about to show you. What we did is we created somewhere around here, right here on the desktop. So we're going to come here, up to the desktop, open up Audition, throw this in here. Throw this in here, and what this officially does, I hope this is the right one. No, that's the wrong one. Ah, crap. Oh well, you know, live and learn, right? Okay, so this is what we have, everything in here. This is all the audio tracks that we're going to be compressing into one. If you can tell, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different audio tracks that we have that we're going to compress into one audio track. Now, just to kind of keep in mind that some of these tracks will only be used at certain times. And the bass line for this track is on this one here, the official source audio, as you guys like to call it. So we've already broken these down. So what we're going to do is we're going to line each one of them up to make sure that they sound all in harmony with one another. The one thing that when doing these that you really want to pay attention to is an echo. Anytime that you hear an echo of sorts, it essentially means that you're getting like two or more of something at the same time. So you have a created echo. So you really have to use your ears to see when that echo is coming, because it means that you've got two of the same tracks playing at different levels or different frames at the same time. So that's essentially what we're going to be looking for. Let's find ourselves a good stopping point right here. All right, we're going to stop it right there. We're going to hit Control K. And, well, we need to make it a little bit bigger, I think. All right, we're going to remove that. Going to mute that. Come down to here. Back to the beginning. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so let's start, Mama. Let's start. Stop it right there. Well, now I think we stopped a little bit too. Right there. Control K. Gonna remove it. Come here. Make sure it's lined up good with that. And then we come up right there.
Each of us has a dream, a heart's desire. It calls to us.
You hear it?
And when we're brave enough to listen and bold enough to pursue.
All right, that's the echo I was talking about. So we're going to keep these two. We're going to go ahead and mute them because we are at this section here. They are practically the same one. So we're just going to line these two up since I've already spliced them together. And these should all sound the same. Let's get to about here.
Each of us has a dream, a heart's desire. It calls to us. And when we're
Okay, so we know they're all lined up properly how they should. Now we got to do these. So we're going to leave that one. We're going to mute that one, and that one. Actually, we're going to mute this one too because I want to see what. I think we'll stop it right there. I might have just effed up, but we're going to find out.
When we're brave enough to listen and bold enough to pursue, that dream will lead us on a journey. Each of us has a dream, a heart's desire.
No, we're not right. So we go Control Z. Right there. And then we come back. So essentially, it's just trial and error at this point.
That dream will lead us.
That's perfect. All right. So then we do it again. So we do this for the last two angles, and then everything's lined up. All right, so we have all 7 tracks lined up. I want you guys to hear the echo I was referring to.
Bold enough to pursue. That dream will lead us on a journey to discover who we're meant to be. All we have to do is look inside our hearts and unlock the magic within.
So, sounds pretty good, just, you know, from voicing. So that's how we line everything up. But now we're going to kind of move things abroad here. There's that. And essentially move everything out. Actually, no, this is what we're going to do with that one. I'm going to keep that one there, and we want to move that. Now we go to the beginning, and this is what it sounds like.
And they all live happily ever after.
There is one little detail we're forgetting here, and that is we need to move all of this way, and that needs to come out to about right there. There we go. And that's how we line up all of our audio tracks. So now I'm going to spend some time splicing them together, editing them. I'm not going to go through everything that I do here, but I will showcase some of it in the background.
Ready to begin, let the wonder take hold.
Feel it draw you in, watch the moment unfold. Spark a dream that we're meant to follow, setting out for a new tomorrow.
Every step we take brings a new hope, a new day.
Every choice we make helps us find our own way. Every wish finally put into motion, diving in with our hearts wide open. The story comes alive
When we look
a new adventure. There in your eyes,
up in your eyes,
it's just beginning. Feel your heartbeat faster. Reach out and find your happily ever after. Find your happily ever after.
we live every day. Just look up and reach to the sky. We all have the courage to fly.
You can fly. You can fly. You can fly.
When we look inside,
There in your
So we're going to give you guys just a little breakdown of what we have so far. This is our intro, so I figured I'd give you guys a little opportunity and to how we're progressing along. Here we go.
All right, let's start, Mama. Let's start.
And they all live happily ever after.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is our fully edited audio track. I know this looks pretty rough. This is what we've done over the last 4.5 to 5 hours. We've been solely working on this. A lot of good things. A lot of good things. I'm very, very, very excited for it. I know it looks rough, bro. It looks rough. We've taken 7 tracks and kind of taking the best parts out of it. Some of it didn't really line up the way I wanted it to, volume-wise and tone-wise. I will say the one thing I did not show is lining up fireworks. Initially, this yellow track here was lined up with the track that was underneath it. It matched the audio exactly. But once I got it lined up perfectly, I had no need for it. But I had to manually, sucks, bro. I had to manually sync the fireworks together, which was really hard. And it took about an hour to get it synced up in the right place to where it was sounding like when one firework would shoot off, it would play the sound of two fireworks shooting off. That's obviously not what we want. We want everything to be synced up together. I will say that the fireworks sound on this is like chef's kiss. It's perfect. It doesn't sound like your normal fireworks. It's got a lot of bass to it. But that's good because it's different. It's something new. And but instead of me yapping about what it sounds like, I'm going to play the intro for you guys, and you guys can kind of tell that there is a big difference from the audio that we recorded back in September. So I'm going to cut my mic off and let you guys hear it.
Scaredy cat. Such a scaredy cat.
Here we go.
All right, it's gonna start, mama. Let's start.
And they all lived happily ever after. Each of us has a dream, a heart's desire. It calls to us. And when we're brave enough,
They draw you in, watch the moment unfold. I can see that we're meant to follow, setting out for a new tomorrow.
Every step we take brings a new hope, a new day.
Every choice we make helps us find our own way. Every wish finally put into motion, diving in with our hearts wide open. The story comes alive when we look at new adventure. In your eyes, it's just beginning. Your heartbeat faster. We try to find happily ever after. Find joy happily ever after.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and let's go back here because there is something here that I don't think should be.
Such a scaredy cat.
Here we go.
All right, it's gonna start, mama. Let's start.
Well, we got to fix that. Yeah, bro, we got to fix that. We can't start off bad. Everything else is perfect, but we can't start bad. We're going to take some time and fix that for sure before we even get started. Okay, just to go on something really fast while we're on this. Anytime you guys are, if you guys are doing this, not even on just a firework video, but just editing and doing audio and video anyways, always, before you go to render your stuff, man, make sure that you watch your stuff, or in this case, listen to it. And take the opportunity when you do that to nitpick at things. Because, I mean, this is supposed to be your baby that you're sitting here and you're creating this. So you want to be able to take pride in it. So I thought that everything was perfect, and then I go back and I start listening to it, just showing you guys, and it was off by like half a beat. So we obviously went in and fixed it. Took about 30 seconds to fix it. So please, whatever you do, go through and proof listen and proof watch your stuff before you do it. Some people don't go through the links that we go through with something like this, but it's just something to keep in mind. Somebody has to say it, because if I don't think anybody else will. But I'm going to mute the mic and I'm going to show you guys what it sounds like now. You should be able to tell the difference. Here we go.
All right, it's gonna start, Mama. Let's start.
And they all lived happily ever after. Each of us has a dream, a heart's desire. It calls to us, and when we're brave enough to listen and bold enough to pursue, that dream will lead us on a journey to discover who we're meant to be. All we have to do is look inside our hearts and unlock the magic within.
Ready to begin.
So as you can tell, everything is lined up the way that it should. I'm obviously not going to play the entire clip. As you can tell, and it was just that one spot, which audio clips are a little weird when it comes to stuff like that. Sometimes through the rest of it, it'll be perfect. But then you've got this one little section at the beginning or in the middle that just doesn't line up right. I wish I could tell you why that is. I think it has a lot to do with, honestly, the way it was recorded. This is done obviously with an orchestra and a lot of different parts all thrown into one. So it could be that there is a kind of a small delay in some of the audio in the source audio there. So, and I did find that out later on in the recording. There was a couple of spots that were just out of place. The audio recording is obviously different than the recording that is played inside the parks. So I had to remove some of it, as you guys can probably see through here. There are some of the parts that are not here that are replaced with these down here. Another track here to kind of replace it. And I've had to make effects and adjustments to make it as similar to it as possible. And I mean, it still sounds good, but it's out of place. And for those, it's always best if it's like that, it's out of place. It's just best to remove it, because you're not going to be able to get it to line up. For an example, there's the Aladdin scene where Aladdin's talking, where the lamp is in front of the castle. What is actually said at the parks is different than what the studio recording is. So that's the whole instance here. We remove it and play what it says inside the parks. So that's just something to keep in mind. We are going to do a playthrough. This audio track, I believe, is about 23 minutes long. 23 minutes and like 12 seconds. So we're obviously not going to play the entire audio track here. We're going to go through and we're going to proof listen to it, and we will pick it back up in Premiere Pro when we start doing visuals. We're going to explain to you how all that. We're going to be doing something new this time, so it's we're going to be learning something together when it comes to video editing. But the audio is, we hope it's done, and if it is, we'll pick back up in Premiere Pro. Our audio track is done. So we are here in the place that I spend the most of my time during this, and this is the video editing part. This is where we figure out which angles are going to go where and all this and that. I'm not going to showcase the entirety of this, because I mean, YouTube wouldn't support that length of a video, because it usually takes me anywhere of probably close to 24 hours of from start to finish putting things together where I think would look the best types of things. a lot of things that we're going to do this go around that we did not do the first go around. Our happily ever after video that came out on January the 31st was legitimately a copy and paste from the video we had back in 2023. And what we essentially did was removed some of the sections, added a couple of different angles here and there with the timeline. Not really a lot of changes and not really much difference between the two shows. So this one here, we're redoing everything. This is why we're going through everything with everyone to kind of show you guys what it is that we do. The video editing part is honestly the most fun part of this entire process, because you get to put together your audio track, you get to see your video footage and your clips as they are. And what you're essentially doing is you're creating a show from just those clips, and you're making it look really, really good. So the process of a lot of things coming together is really good. You know, it's very accomplished. When you get done with this, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm done. But we won't be done, because then there's the rough draft and final draft version of the show that we do. Anytime we do a show like this, we do a rough draft and a low quality version of it. We don't add any effects to it. This is just the angles themselves. Once we find out that, okay, we need to change this, we need to change that, we'll go into that section and we will change that as we are watching it. And then we will do another rough draft, low quality version. Once we get all the transitions where we want them to be, it'll be at that point that we start going in and adding the effects. We will keep the timeline that we have at this point, which would be it's going to be completely massive. We will keep the timeline that we have at this point, but we'll start adding these effects in to make it look better. This is something that we've never done, and this is definitely doing something like this is definitely something new. All the clips and video footage that we've done in the past has all been done with no effects. It's all been just genuine footage. So we might have adjusted some of the exposure and some of the color on it here and there but aside from really, really diving deep into it and making it look as best as possibly can, we've never been able to do that. So I'm in the process of trying to learn and teach myself how to do it. So that's why this video is going to take the longest out of all of them, because we're going to go through every single frame by frame, and see, what we need to change. And if you guys don't understand what I mean by frame, in a 23-minute video, there are probably close to over 2 million frames in a show like that, in a video like that. So it is very, very time consuming, and we're going to go through each one and kind of see, what adjustments we can make, kind of familiarize ourselves with it. We were experimenting with DaVinci Resolve, because I don't care for DaVinci Resolve by itself as an editing software. I don't really care for it. I never cared for it. It's just something I couldn't get behind, and something that I couldn't really get underneath my skin really well. But I've been in Premiere Pro for about 3 years, and so I think it's time to start learning some of the technical stuff about it. So we're going to take some time, and we're going to put all of this together, put the show together, and we will see you back when we get ready to do our rough draft. All right, everybody, we are in the middle of lining everything up visually. What we're essentially doing here is we're creating a rough draft, and I wanted to kind of showcase how we do this for a moment. Talking about, this is where we decide which angles come where and how all that kind of plays out. It all boils down to the creativity here. We'll come through here, and we'll just play a little bit of this so I can kind of make a point. Okay, so if we go back to this shot here at top of California Grill, the thought process behind here is I know that there is a section coming up that has something here. This section here, what I wanted to do is I wanted to do two separate shots. I wanted to do a shot with this side of the fireworks showing and a shot further back with the other side showing. So rather than doing it two shots, I decided to put both of the shots together and kind of start in the middle and kind of pan out. And as we do that visually, it looks really, really cool when you're starting kind of in the middle. You go all the way back and then you're all the way back at the beginning. Visually, it's really cool looking, and I think it's just something that I like to do. That's kind of like my signature type of thing. So that's essentially what we do. We're not going to go through a lot of the things, but we are going to come to the next section that we're at. And I just kind of wanted to show you guys and let you step into my mind for just a moment. This section here, this is the section with Meredith, and she's getting ready to shoot her arrow.
Destiny lies within you. You just have to be brave enough to see it, and then your journey begins.
So essentially what we want to do is we want to show the viewer that she is shooting her arrow, and then what we want to do is we want to be able to see it, because we obviously can't see the arrow that's being shot in our close angle. So what we do is we go to our back angle here, and we're able to get it, and we'll keep playing it.
I will hear every story told of my own dream. Be as strong as the seas are stormy.
All right, we're going to stop it right there, because what I'm thinking about right now is I'm thinking about what's coming. And I know that, you know, the car section's coming, and there's, you know, something that's going into that. I also know that there's this Thumbelina area coming down, which I think would look visually really cool. So we're going to go there, about here, and we're going to throw this in here. Or not, you know, that's cool too. We're going to throw that in there. And then we're going to go back to our projection scene here. And we're going to probably do something a little bit different here. We're going to play this. We're just going to let it play out for a little bit. All right, so we're getting to this section, and it's kind of, this is something that I did when I originally did the video, is I kind of left this section in till about right there, and then I just panned out towards the back. But we're going to do something just a little bit different. What we're kind of going to want to do is, instead of using the close angle for this, I'm thinking that we're probably going to go towards the middle area and see how it looks. Let's check it out. Okay, so we have everything right here. As we can tell, what I kind of want to do, whoops, well, hit the wrong button. All right, so we're going to stop it right here. And what we essentially want to do is we want to move frame-wise to about right there, right when the fireworks are starting to shoot out. We're just going to kind of give it something new and something fresh, and then we throw it in here. And this is what it looks like. Let's turn this off. Come on. one eternity later. There we go.
Enough to see it, and then the journey begins.
I will hear every story told of my own dream. Be as strong as the seas are stormy, and proud as an eagle's.
Okay, so I see the transition between the two scenes, and I don't like it because it looks really sloppy. So what essentially we're going to end up doing is, more than likely, we're probably going to end up zooming in a little bit sooner, depending on where exactly our castle is here. Because what we want to do is we want to get the section about right up here towards the top of the frame here. So we're going to back up. Maybe we go about here. We want to go just a little bit further. About right there. Okay. So then what we're going to do is we're going to cut it there. We're going to remove that. Now we're going to cut it here. And we're going to watch. All right, so then we're going to put that there. We've initially showcased that. And then that's when we pan to the back. Once those fireworks and visuals come up, we can probably pan to the back. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do here, but I know we're going to be doing something different. I just wanted to kind of give you guys just a little glimpse into what goes on in the mind frame here. So we're going to try to finish this up. We're on day 4. So all right, guys, so we kind of figured out what we were going to do here, and I just wanted to showcase a little of it here. Well, I'll just let you see for yourself. All right, so that's essentially what we did, and I'm going to show you how we did it. This is what it looks like in real time. Oh, I hope that didn't go there. Where did you go? Here it is. We essentially want to stop it right there for our next section going into it. That's essentially what we came up with. And what we did was we kind of just panned out, just like we've been doing throughout so far. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that. You're probably going to see a lot of differences in the show this time versus last time. But we're going to finish it up, and we'll see you guys back when we are ready to begin with to test our first rough draft. All right, everybody. So we are done putting together everything in the timeline as we've done it. We did a full 4K rendering of this, and we found some mistakes that needed to be fixed. Nothing really too crazy. It's this section right here where we start really critiquing really hard about which angles we use here. We're not going to put out a trailer for it just yet, Because like I said, I mean, we're still in the easy part of it. You know, we've got everything together. We've got it, just the angles. That's what we're focusing on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and render a 1080p version of this, watch it all the way through to see what we think of it. And then the fun begins. We're going to be doing and learning something that we have never done. Usually when this is done, usually this part of the video, we usually just start rendering the 8K version of it, to be honest, and putting together a trailer from it first and, you know, doing that. We've never went past this. So this is something that we're going to be doing this time to make this show look as good as it possibly can. And what I'm referring to is color corrections and making things look better. The audio sounds amazing. It sounds really, really great. So don't really need to focus anything on that, obviously. If we're already done with, you know, splicing together the video, we try worrying about the audio now that we're kind of messed it up. So what we're going to do is we're going to render a full, probably a 4K version of the show, and then go at it. And all we're trying to do is see if each of the scenes transitions are good, and they're making sure all my scene transitions are good. We want to make sure that going musically and making sure that visually everything matches up to the way that we want it to. I'm sure we'll find something to change at some point, and then we'll go in and change that. If it is anything, it'll be just one or two things, and then we'll go change that, and then we'll start putting together our fully edited timeline, which will only consist of this bottom line here. We're going to save our work as it is here, and then we'll just remove all of this and start putting in visual effects, color correction, and stuff like that, because this is unacceptable. Honestly, the hardest part with these recordings are at the beginning, because everything is so dark at the beginning. And then as we get further along in the intro and stuff, we start to see a lot of more lively colors. But we want to kind of make some changes and try to make some things better than what they look like. So I guess we'll see you back after we do our walkthrough. But to give you guys a little sneak preview of it, I'm going to show you guys a little clip of the version that we that we rendered up last night. So I'm going to mute my audio so you guys can hear it. One thing I did notice when putting together this show, and I want to go back and show you guys about right here. I did notice that in this shot here, I mean, things, you know, based on being our first time shooting this show, everything looks really good and we're really, really far back. We can honestly be a lot closer. And I will be reshooting a lot of these angles, this one in particular. This one will be getting reshot. We're going to be reshooting our projections angle. We have a new angle, two new angles that we're going to be shooting. Because the further away we are, I feel like we can be closer because there's so much of the shot that's being covered by people and other obstacles, such as the balloon. At the beginning of this, you probably haven't seen it, but there's a phone in the middle of it. So I kind of want to reshoot this angle here because there's a lot of spots where somebody kicked my tripod. So just something to kind of throw out there. I'll probably keep this angle and add it in there in the big video that we do. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. It's kind of like my mindset for the whole thing. A lot of it was, trial and error. So we're learning from what we're doing. So, but we're going to move on and we will see you guys tomorrow. We are, as you can tell, we are in the process of editing our footage. This is the process that takes forever, man. It takes a long time. We've been here for about 6 hours, and everything that you see that has the pink layer, the 2 adjustment layers on the top, is all that we've edited in 6 hours. These take, this part takes a long time. But we were able to render a short clip of the footage before, and then we're going to show you the footage afterwards, and then we're going to take a couple of clips and show you how we did it. It is a long process. So let's come down here, and we're going to put these 2 clips side by side. So that way you can obviously tell the difference. The video on the left side, these are both the exact same shot at exactly the same time. The footage on the left side, you can obviously tell, is the unedited version. You can tell that the footage is a little grainy. It doesn't look bad, not really all that bad. This is the type of footage that we have used in the past because we didn't really understand anything about color grading and adding adjustment layers and a whole lot of different stuff. The footage on the right is obviously the edited version, and this is what it looks like afterwards. The footage on the right looks 100 times better. It looks like a completely different video. The color grading is perfect. The blue, all the colors pop out really good. The quality overall is 100 times better. So when we were actually able to figure this out, it was kind of like a big pat on the back, and I got really excited. But we're going to play the first clip, and then we're going to play the second clip, so that way you guys can be able to see how they work as correlation to just a picture. But I'm going to mute my mic for a moment. All right, I wanted to stop it right there so that way you guys can see the difference. I'm going to stop the other one in the exact same spot, and you're going to be able to really tell a difference here. This area here was one of the hardest to be able to edit because of this smoke here. This smoke here is, we just can't remove it. And unfortunately, this is the only spot in the entire show where you've got smoke coming off the sides of the castle, because it's the only time in the show where fireworks are particularly shot right off the top of it. So it's kind of a big bummer, If we had been closer, then there's a 99% chance that it wouldn't have been that way. On our close angle, when we're right up close, the smoke, you can't even tell it's there. But we're going to show the second clip now. All right. The only reason I muted my mic is because the speakers are literally coming out of the monitor right now, and I didn't want that to overtake the microphone. As you can tell, these two, even if we go back at exactly the same moment here, let's see if we can get it just right. All right, that's about right where it is. I mean, this one is probably about half a second off, but you can obviously tell the difference between the two. This one looks a lot better color-wise. You can see a lot. The colors pop out. All the quality is overall better. Here you get a lot of noise. You get a lot of noise. If no one who's never edited or done videos or photos before, noise is something that we call in a video or a picture that kind of is really, really granulated, and it makes the shot look really, really bad. Some you get, I can make an entire video on noise by itself. But this here, because of the color correction and everything and the adjustment layers and the tint that we did here, it was able to kind of make the shot just a little bit better. It doesn't completely replace the fact that we've got smoke in front of the castle, but as we go on, that begins to kind of go away. All right, we're going to stop it right here. All right, we stopped them at both right at the same point because at this point there isn't any smoke in the front of the castle at this time. At the time of recording this video, the wind was on our side here. This angle, there was actually some thunderstorms moving in during that time. So in this angle, obviously Tinkerbell didn't fly. This is what we're left with. And I don't even have to tell you, which one looks better and which one doesn't. The one on the right obviously looks a lot better. It's better quality, the better color. Everything overall is just 100% better quality. The one on the left, it just looks really grainy. It looks really bad. And I mean, it's not bad because I've, used it before. You can use the Luminicolor and just kind of auto correct it. But at some point, the reason I don't like using those is because it always adjusts the exposure and it always makes it underexposed or overexposed. So I don't particularly like using that. But let's show you what we did here. Let me come back into Premiere Pro. Let's close these out. All right, as we're in here in Premiere Pro, we're going to skip all the way down to about here. What we're essentially doing is we are taking what we see and trying to make the best out of it. These adjustment layers that we have here has a lot of different stuff in it. The bottom adjustment layer, actually the clip itself, has a tint effect, which is what we're going to add now. We're going to come in here, we're going to add the tint effect. We're just going to do one clip because one clip is it's enough here. Oh, I almost forgot. We're going to bring that clip up, make a copy of it. Now we get a black and white. At some point, there's supposed to be black and white here. There are no adjustments made to this clip whatsoever, so this is just a 100% raw clip. So we're going to grab the tint effect here. Then we're going to go to our effect controls. Did we actually? No, we didn't. Okay. So we're going to come in here and we're going to throw soft light on here. We're going to change the opacity to about, what did we do, like 25? Whoops. Put it on the wrong clip. 35. So first, we're going to remove this. We're going to go back into our effects. This is all really, really new for me. Okay, so now we have a black and white. We're going to come to the effects controls, and then we're going to go to the blend mode. We're going to go to soft light. We can see we get things that are really, really dark, but we're going to change our opacity here on this clip here. We're going to turn it to about 35%. And we see that it lightens it up some. What the tint does is it kind of brings a little bit of the colors out, not really a whole bunch. But I'm going to show you what I have in the adjustment layers here. It is actually really simple. It's an unsharpened mask that we've put here and kind of adjusted it to match what we feel is going to be here on the first one. And on the second one, we put another unsharpened mask. So we have 3 different unsharpened masks here, which what that does is it affects the contrast and the sharpening here. And so we've adjusted it to make it look really, really crisp and really, really good. We see this clip now. I'm just going to drag these over here and put them over my clip. And this is what we get. We get really, really crisp. If we take off the adjustment layers, you can kind of see how it's there, and the tint effect makes it look really good, but these unsharpened masks just make it look really good. So now we're going to do our final step here. We're going to come over here to our color correction, and we're going to make it think that we're doing something, and then we're going to come over here to our curves. Our curves are essentially like the RGB curves, which lets you adjust the color correction here, and I'm going to show you how all of this works. Based on the colors that we have white and blue. Not really a whole lot. I don't really want to adjust the white too much, because adjusting the white too much is going to overpower the majority of the castle, which means you're not going to be able to see any of the projections on it, and it might even overpower the color of the blue. So I obviously want the blue to kind of pop out a little bit more, so I want it to be just a hair brighter. So we're going to raise it up some. As you can see, it starts to pop out a little bit better. That's probably where I want it. And then we're going to come here, make a small adjustments to the white, and it makes it just a tad bit brighter. So I don't want the white to overpower the blue. I kind of want the, kind of want the blue to kind of act as sidelines for it. So that's where we are. And as you can see, the color looks really good. It looks really great. We can get away. You're not going to be able to see it all that well. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to try to see if we can get the most out of it. And we're going to come hit the auto color correction based on what we have, and we're going to see what we get here. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. All right. So we have that there. Now we can check and see what it looks like before. It looks a little too over sharp. So that's what we have, and this is without it. Let's go back to the beginning so we can get an actual view without. All right, now let's hit the auto here. Going once, going twice. Gonna jump off a bridge. Or not, you know? Okay. So there is some adjustments, but not much, because it's the brightness here. Anytime you're doing a clip, you want to get to probably the brightest part of the clip, because like I said, this thing will mess the exposure either too dark or too light. So yeah, that's how we're going to do that. I like that. See what happens once our balloons start going up. Right there. I'm going to see what it looks like when it's dark, and it looks good. It looks very good. It's still a little grainy, so what we're going to do is we're just going to remove this, and it takes that away. it over contrasted it. So when that happens, we just kind of leave that alone. This is why I don't like using this. I've seen people that will make entire videos on automatic color correction. Don't use this. So that's it for this one, man. That's where we are so far. This is probably gonna take a few days, bro, because we have all of these clips to do. Not to mention, we still have the ending to do. We still have to pick clips to put at the ending for it. And then after that, we have to render the entire 1080p version of it. I found the hardest part of all of this is honestly the first part, the opening section, because the opening section is so dark. We tried doing color corrections, but with how dark it is, using color correction here is not the move. It's just not. And there are some parts where I could have kind of went in on a close angle, but I just didn't. So, man, that's where we are. I know a little bit long talking about this part, but we are gonna, it's been about 10 or 15 minutes just talking about this, but it's very crucial. And we're going to continue doing the rest of the video like this. And we will see you back when we are done, probably later this week. So, all right, everybody. The color correction and editing part is done. As you can see in the timeline, this is what everything looks like after it's done. Now, there is one more section that we have to do, that we have to edit, and it is simply the vignette that we normally do at the end, which is this part here. I'll play a little bit so you guys can hear it.
Diving in with our hearts wide.
So we're going to be putting clips from the show that we don't use, or some very, very beautiful, nice looking clips. We'll definitely end up putting those in there. We'll probably end up putting the Tinkerbell section in there too, just because everyone loves that. So we'll put a lot of really, really cool stuff in there, and we'll edit that up, and the entire video will be done. I want to explain a little bit of how, if you can pay attention for a moment, if you would, to the timeline, you can see that each one of the adjustment layers is kind of split up into sections. Each section here. What I did is when each section was done, I would make a subsequence and watch it and check it to make sure everything looks good quality-wise. So I did that for every single session. And then last night before I went to bed, I went ahead and rendered the entire video and watched it this morning. It looks great. Granted, it was a 1080p version, so we can't really get the full video bitrate of it. But I think what we're going to do tonight is we're going to go ahead and put in the vignettes today. And so that way the entire video is done. And then what we'll do before we go to bed tonight is we will render a 4K version of the show in full video bitrate, and then tomorrow we will check it out and watch it. The 4K version is the one that we will be using for our live premiere. We will obviously pick out the area that we're going to be using for our trailer. That comes up next. We normally, once the video is done, we come out with a trailer, but essentially we want to finish up this video first, because I want this video to come out before we showcase the show, to show you guys, you know, how everything looks. And I figured I would give you guys a first look into Happily Ever After. We have a scene here that I'm going to show that is essentially from the show. It is like in the middle, right after the Aladdin scene. So I'm going to play it for you guys, and then we should, after that, we should begin working on our official trailer here in just a little while. So that is what might be our official trailer. Not exactly sure. I'm going to go through and figure some things out about what I want to put for our trailer. When it comes up to coming up with a trailer, you don't want to showcase the end of your show, because if you're watching a trailer for a movie, you don't show the ending of the movie in the trailer. You kind of show some of the best parts. So that's essentially what we're probably going to try and find. Is there? I mean, there's so many good, sections, within this show. So we're gonna go through and see what we can come up with, and well, we should see you guys back. We're getting ready to release our official trailer. So now we're gonna talk a little bit about settings. We had some technical difficulties earlier, but now we've got it all figured out. So this is what we have for our settings. Our frame size, which is our resolution, 7680 by 4320. That is our 8K. Our frame rate's 24. Obviously, we're using the format of H.265, like we covered before. This is where you really need to pay attention. Render at maximum depth. Absolutely yes. Use maximum render quality. Absolutely yes. Render alpha channel only. Leave that unchecked. Don't mess with that. Okay. Hardware encoding, obviously. Tier. We want to put this to high. Why? Because higher tier gives you access to a higher bit rate. Higher bit rate equals a larger file size. Yes, but you get better quality of it. And you're going to understand how we're able to get into that here in just a moment. As far as bitrate encoding, we're going to go with CBR, which stands for constant bitrate. And we're going to crank it all the way up to 240 bitrate. And for our quality, we're going to go for the highest quality, which means the slowest render time. As you can see, everything here is 8K, 24 frames. The time of the video is 22 minutes, 48 seconds. Everything, HVAC, H.265, everything here is how it's supposed to be. We could go ahead and start the render. We usually send it to Media Encoder because it just doesn't take as long and it doesn't bog down the computer so much. So that's normally what we do. Unfortunately, we're not going to be doing this because we still want to make some changes to it so we can get our trailer out and start rendering tonight. This here is the settings that we've used almost every time. This will be the first time that we have rendered with full bitrate. So what I really want to do is do a full render with 240 bitrate, see what it comes out to, and see if it looks good. If it looks really good, we're obviously going to keep it. If it's granulated and some of the parts feel like they don't belong, and I feel like it looks worse than the 4K version, then we're obviously going to have to go back, change our bitrate settings back to what we normally would, which is right around about 50. So we'll just have to play around with it and see what we're going to do. So we're going to come here and we're going to save it. So that way, when we reopen our project, our export settings are already saved. We don't have to go back in and wait and play slowly. The only bad thing about doing an 8K video is when I'm editing my video, I edit it in 1080p. And then as I'm getting ready to render a 4K version, I change my sequence settings to 4K. When I'm getting ready to render it in 8K, I go ahead and change the settings to 8K. 8K kind of has if you don't have a really good computer, it's going to bog down your computer a lot. So just something to keep in mind, something to throw that out there. I think the next step here, we're getting close to the end here. The hard part is done. We're going to fix our ending that we have. I really want to put some scenes transitions into each one of these things here as we do our little vignette before the castle closes out. So I really want to figure some stuff out with that. And we've got to put our outro here. But, I mean, that's nothing too crazy. And then we already have an idea about what we're going to do for our trailer. And we will end up rendering our trailer tonight. So we will see you back here tomorrow, and we will be showcasing our trailer, our official trailer that's going to be being uploaded to the channel. The trailer will actually come out after this video. This video will come out first, and we will end this video with the trailer. So once we have the trailer done, we'll kind of meet you guys back here, and then we'll talk a little bit about our live premieres that we're going to be setting up, and how we do that and how everything kind of plays out with that. So I guess we'll see you guys tomorrow. And now we are officially done. It's been a long road. Our official trailer has finished rendering. It is up and right here. And we're going to showcase it here in just a moment. Everything looks really, really good based on, you know, how everything plays out. I'm a little skeptical about whether or not to include the intro that I put in, which is probably a total of 2 minutes long of me talking and doing my intro and explaining a lot about the stuff that we did and about the live premiere that we have coming up for it and a whole bunch of other stuff. We still have a little bit of work to do but that really doesn't happen. The only thing we have left to do is to create our live premiere package, which really isn't a whole lot of work. After it's done rendering, we put it in the timeline, and we officially just showcase it. It's nothing crazy. No reason to go in detail about, you know, everything that we do to set up live premieres. It's not really relevant at all. From start to finish, based on how we're doing, we are looking at roughly about a 76-hour render time. 76 hours, which is over 3 days of rendering. Based on how it's probably going to play out, we're looking more of like 4 days. So 4 days of rendering it's a lot, bro. It's a lot. Legitimately, I can do nothing on this computer while that's happening because I don't want to slow it down and I don't want to mess it up. So this computer will remain inoperable for that period of time. So obviously, before we start the 8K render, we will probably edit this video and get it up, and then do the trailer the following week. And I really don't want to put the trailer out until after the 8K render is done. That's usually how this works. I know this is a long one. It's been a lot of detail and a lot of information about some of the stuff that we do. But I'm going to showcase the 8K version of it for you guys, so that way you guys get a first look at the trailer before the trailer officially comes out. Make sure to let me know in the comment section down below if you guys like these types of videos. If you have any questions about anything, or you happen to see something that I'm doing and you say, hey, you're doing this, but maybe you should do this instead, then don't be afraid to comment in the section down below and say, hey, you know, you're doing it this way, maybe you should try this type of thing. I'm always welcoming any types of criticism whatsoever. So we are going to showcase our official trailer for our 2024 Happily Ever After video. It is done. We do have another project coming up, but it's not need to be ready until probably August sometime. So we have a lot to kind of just chillax and just do our weekly videos. We didn't do any videos this week because we've been solely working on this. So here is our official trailer for Happily Ever After. Hey everybody, welcome back, and the video is about to start in just a moment. We put out a video for Happily Ever After last year in 2023, so we learned a lot of different editing skills and techniques when it comes to color correction and doing a lot of adjustment layers and visual effects. So we're going to showcase that here. This video looks 100 times better. The quality is so much better than it is before. We've got a brand new audio track that we edited and recorded up. So make sure to let me know what you guys think of it in the comment section down below. I will have all the details for the live premiere, which gives me an opportunity to connect with you, gives you an opportunity to connect with me. So make sure to let me know what you think of the video in the comment section down below. If you're new, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. And this is my official trailer for my 2024 Happily Ever After.